Samsung 16 gigs DDR5 DRAM on 12nm node enters the mass production. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 drops to $1599 in Germany, 18% below original MSRP. AMD Radeon RX 7600 GPU specs have been confirmed. Custom Radeon RX 7600 graphics card listed in Canada. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti rumored to cost $399, that's the 8 gigs, and $499 for the 16 gigs. This is Tech Track. Alright, first up we have Tom's Hardware posting this, that Samsung 16 gigs have entered mass production on 12nm node. Basically, the previous one was the 14nm node for the Samsung DDR5 memories here. Now they're using the 12nm node, basically meaning better yield rate because it's a better node. And they're also suggesting that the maximum pin speed will be 7.2 Gbps. That's quite faster than the previous one. But they also mentioned that these ICs will not be available for the consumers here. Basically, they're going for the data centers, artificial intelligence, and next generation computing. And as they mentioned that the power consumption will be 20%, 33% compared to the previous gen, as they mentioned, and enhancing the wafer productivity. Basically, the yield rate will go high to 20%. So that's a really good thing that they're going for the mass production with the 12nm compared to 14nm. I'm guessing the 14nm will get shut down, and 12nm is the way to go for the DDR5 for the Samsung modules from now on. Next up we have Mind Factory from this is a retailer from Germany, basically listed the RTX 4090 Gamer Edition, and it's coming at $1669. Now it's around 18 to 15% below MSRP. Previously it was, well, we already know it was much higher than this. 18% is a huge drop, and we're getting it at $1669, so that's really good. And I wonder why it's dropping now, right? Next up, we have the AMD Radeon RX 7600 non-XT specs have been leaked, and we have this full spec from video cards here. And if you look into it, well, AMD Radeon, as you can see, then that's using the Navi 33 die, and technology is 6 nm. The die size has been revealed, 204mm square, quite smaller, because obviously that's an Navi 33 module, so it's gonna be smaller anyway. And it's also confirming the 128 bus speed, that is confirmed right there, and of course the shaders, 2048 unified shaders, that was also confirmed before. It will be coming at 8 gigs of memory, but we still don't know if the 16 gigs module will be coming, because we have a next news that, well, kind of confirms that 4060 Ti will have double variants, basically the 8 gigs and the 16 gigs. We'll look into it, shall we? But before that, we look into the pricing for the RX 7600, basically listing right here, as you can see, the Canadian dollar of $451.99, basically $452. And for the MSI model, we're getting $443.99. So yeah, it has been listed, but now, well, it has been removed. So that kind of confirms it. They have unintentionally posted the pricing there, and obviously they didn't want to do it, which also means that it's going to be releasing soon enough. And the pricing, as we all saw, it's $451 Canadian dollar, which again, when you convert it to USDs without the tax, of course, you can get around 330 USDs or 336 USDs, as mentioned right here. 336 for the 451 version, and the 443 will be 330. So yeah, around that kind of pricing that we'll be looking at in USD. So that's quite a good pricing in my opinion, because, you know, it's around the $300 to $350, so which is very much appealing when it comes to the mid-range market, because, you know, this is, we haven't seen this in a long time, so that's really good. But also it has been removed here, so that kind of confirms it, kind of. And also next up, that's the story I want to talk about, is that 4060 Ti and 4060 Ti 16 gigs. Well, I'm mentioning 4060 Ti without mentioning the VRAM, basically. It would mean that it's 8 gigs, and then the mentioned one is 16 gigs. Well, as you can see, the pricing is also listed $399 and $499. Well, basically 4060 Ti 16 gigs. Well, I mean, $100 premium for double the VRAM. I don't really see the point going this kind of pricing, in my opinion, because, you know, as we already saw, 7600 is going with the 8 gigs model, and that would be the price at $335 to $350. That is the preferred pricing. And they're going $50 more premium for the 4060 Ti. By the way, they will be competing the same or maybe on par. We'll see about that. But they're priced at $399, and 7600 is priced at $350. So yeah, I mean, it's the same VRAM. It will all come down to which one will perform better, right? But when it comes to 4060 Ti 16 gigs, I think that's overpriced. reason is that 7600 XT, I believe, will have 16 gigs of VRAM. That is the rumor, basically, but we still don't know if that will be the case. But still, $100 premium for double the VRAM is a steal for the company, not for us, for the company, of course. For NVIDIA, it's a steal from the people, from the consumers, because $100, I wouldn't agree that doubling the VRAM does mean that. I mean, if you're telling me that doubling the VRAM will also give me double the performance, in some cases, yes, but not all cases, because the die should be the same for the 4060 Ti. So I believe that is not worth the price.